Welcome to the Mind Cuts series. Have you ever felt like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders?
Oh, absolutely.
Not just your own stuff, but, the emotions, the expectations, even the problems of everyone around you.
Yeah, that feeling like the load just gets heavier
Yeah.
every single year.
Exactly. That's what we're diving into today. We've got some really interesting material that gets right to the heart of this. It asks a pretty big question, actually.
Which is,
What are we truly responsible for? And maybe more importantly, what burdens can we finally put down?
that's crucial.
Our mission here in this deep dive is really to help you feel lighter, to spot those invisible weights you might be carrying without even knowing it.
And by doing that, freeing up, well, mental space, right?
Yeah.
For your own things, your creativity, your passions,
Precisely. It's all about figuring out where our responsibility ends.
and where someone else's begins.
Yeah.
The insights we've looked at, they really push you to examine the
Yeah.
subtle ways we take on things that aren't ours.
Out of habit, maybe,
Yeah.
or just wanting to help.
Could be both. Often is.
Okay, so let's start with one I think loads of people grapple with. Feeling responsible for other people's feelings. We want to be kind, respectful.
Of course. But there's a line, isn't there?
Where is it?
Well, the material makes a really key distinction. It's about empathy versus ownership.
Okay.
We can totally empathize, acknowledge someone's feelings, see where they're coming from. But their emotional reaction, that's ultimately their own to manage.
Right, so trying to control their feelings or stop them feeling bad.
Even with the best intentions, can actually backfire. It gets problematic.
I get that. I used to spend so much time writing emails, agonizing, trying to predict every possible reaction.
Oh, the rereading, yeah.
Exhausting.
Yeah.
And honestly, people still felt how they felt. My hypervigilance didn't really change the outcome. That was a bit of an aha moment for me.
And it's interesting why it's exhausting, the dynamic it creates.
Yeah.
When we try to manage someone else's emotions, we almost mirror them.
How do you mean?
Like, if they're down, we feel we have to lift them up. And if we can't, we feel like we failed somehow.
Ah, I see. So you get caught in their emotional state. Creates this unhealthy kind of link.
Exactly. Interdependence, but not in a good way.
And this must be super tricky with family, right? Parents, maybe? That urge to make them happy, smooth things over?
Oh, yeah. The material calls it being a mood shifter.
A mood shifter. Okay.
But the deeper insight is that real support isn't about fixing their mood for them. It's more about helping them build their own emotional toolkit.
So they can handle it themselves, not rely on you.
Precisely. Because if we're always jumping in to fix their feelings, we rob them of the chance to build resilience, to learn coping skills.
And it stalls their growth, maybe. Makes them dependent.
It absolutely can.
Yeah.
They start looking to us to feel okay instead of finding that within themselves.
Okay. So kindness, yes. Support, yes. But responsibility for their actual feelings. That's theirs. Makes sense.
Right.
So, next up, how other people see us. Another big energy drain for a lot of folks, myself included sometimes.
Yes, and the core idea here is just accepting how subjective perception is. It's fundamental. Meaning the sources really stress this. No matter how carefully you act or what you say, how people interpret it is always filtered through their own lens.
Their past, their beliefs.
Their mood that day, anything. It's their filter, not necessarily about you.
That feels kind of freeing, actually. You can try so hard to do everything right.
Bend over backwards.
Yeah. And people will still form their own opinion, sometimes based on, nothing. The bit about judging someone based on hearsay really hit me.
Right. It's like outsourcing your own judgment instead of just getting to know the person yourself.
Totally.
And think about that one-word description idea. Imagine someone just walking past you versus having a quick chat versus knowing you for years.
Completely different descriptions, probably.
Exactly. Each snapshot is different. So how can we possibly be responsible for all those different takes? It's impossible.
That Cirque du Soleil example was interesting, too, how even applause means different things in different cultures.
Yeah, totally highlights how much is outside our control. What looks like faint praise to one person might be a huge compliment to another. Misinterpretations happen.
So if we're constantly worried about how we're coming across...
But that's where the spotlight effect comes in. That feeling that everyone's watching and judging your every move.
We think people notice us way more than they actually do.
Exactly. We overestimate it because, we're the center of our world. We assume we're central in theirs, too.
And that leads to self-censoring, hiding parts of ourselves.
It can, yeah. You start filtering yourself, trying to manage the perception, and you end up feeling less authentic, more distant.
Okay, so their feelings, not ours. Their perception, not ours. What about their problems? When someone's struggling, it's so natural to want to jump in and fix it.
It is natural. But again, there's a crucial difference between offering support and taking on the responsibility for fixing it.
And the urge to fix. Sometimes it's about us.
Sometimes, yeah. The sources suggest it can stem from our own discomfort seeing someone struggle. Fixing it makes us feel better, maybe less helpless.
But the downside for them is...
It can be disempowering.
Yeah.
If we always rush in with solutions, they don't learn to solve things themselves. They don't build that confidence, that agency.
Right. We're kind of preventing them from learning.
And often, the real block isn't something we can fix anyway. It's internal. Their beliefs, their fears.
Like the example of someone wanting to write but being scared of criticism.
Yeah.
We can't just fix that fear by editing their stuff.
Exactly. That's their internal work to do. We can support them through it, but we can't do it for them.
I loved that TV show analogy. You're on season 4, they're just starting season 1.
Yeah. You get all the backstory, the character arcs.
And they're still figuring out who's who. You can't just download your understanding into their head. They need to watch it themselves, season by season.
They need their own journey, their own time and commitment to understand and grow. We can be there. Maybe offer snacks.
Huh. Offer snacks, yeah. Point out a good episode, but not fast forward their experience.
Right, and this relates to that pressure we sometimes feel to say the perfect thing, the magic words that will solve everything.
Which usually don't exist.
Rarely.
Mm-hmm.
Often what's needed most is just presence, listening, understanding, not necessarily having the answers, being aligned with them, not trying to fix them from the outside.
Okay. This is building a clear picture. Feelings, perceptions, problems. Now, expectations. This feels like a massive pressure point.
Huge. And the core message is pretty blunt, actually. Trying to meet everyone's expectations, it's impossible.
Yeah.
And exhausting.
And it just sets everyone up for disappointment, doesn't it? You and them.
Absolutely. Because, first off, you can't read minds.
Thank goodness.
Right. You're just guessing what they want. Like that surprise party example, your perfect party might be their idea of a nightmare.
So true. And expectations are everywhere, aren't they? Career, relationships.
Family roles, having kids, all those shoulds. The pressure can lead you down paths that just aren't you.
And you end up feeling unfulfilled, maybe even resentful. Because you're living someone else's idea of your life.
Exactly. You're fitting into a mold, like you said, that wasn't made for you.
Yeah.
And you get further away from your own priorities, your own values.
The personal stories mentioned, like not going to graduation, but the mom still wanting the photo, or parents wanting science studies when you want arts.
Yeah, they really bring it home, that tension between what others expect and what feels true to you.
And often those expectations aren't even really about us, are they?
Often not. The material suggests they frequently come from their unfulfilled dreams or their own anxieties or just societal pressure they've bought into. It's their stuff projected onto you.
Right. Which brings us nicely to the last point, and this feels really empowering. We are not responsible for how other people treat us.
This one is fundamental. It's about self-respect, boundaries. The sources are crystal clear. How someone else acts, their mood, their choices, how they interact with you, that's on them.
It's not a reflection of your worth.
Absolutely not. Someone else behaving badly reflects them, not you.
But it's so easy to internalize it, isn't it? If someone's harsh or dismissive, you start thinking, what did I do wrong? Maybe I deserve this.
We do. Those examples of feeling unlovable after a breakup or worthless because of a bad manager, they show how easily we take that on.
Yeah.
But that quote is so powerful. People don't treat you how you deserve to be treated. They treat you how they treat themselves.
Wow. Say that again?
People don't treat you how you deserve to be treated. They treat you how they treat themselves. Their behavior is often a window into their own internal state.
Their anger, their exhaustion, their low self-esteem.
Exactly. It's rarely actually about your inherent value.
So trying to constantly manage their behavior to make sure they treat you well.
It's exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately it doesn't work because their internal stuff is driving it. We can't control their inner world.
Okay. So let's pull this all together. What are we saying we are not responsible for? Let's list them out.
Okay. We are not responsible for other people's insecurity. Their unrealistic expectations, their misplaced anger, their unhappiness, their misunderstandings, their lack of respect for boundaries, or their need for approval.
Wow. That is quite a list. When you really hear it like that, it's powerful.
It really is. And think about the freedom that comes when you truly internalize that, when you let go of carrying all that.
What do you do with all that freed up energy?
You redirect it inward. Focus on your own well-being, your own heart, your own growth, your own truth.
And setting boundaries suddenly doesn't feel selfish.
It feels necessary. It's self-preservation. It's key for healthy relationships, actually.
And the core reminder underneath it all
Is that you are already enough, exactly as you are. You don't need to carry these extra weights to prove anything.
Just letting that sink in.
This whole deep dive, it's really about permission. Permission to release these burdens so you can make space for what truly matters to you.
Absolutely. And look, if this conversation resonated with you, maybe share it. Share this deep dive with someone you know who might need this reminder too.
Yeah.
We actually had a related deep dive talking about befriending your inner critic and self-compassion based on insights from Selena Gomez. That might be a good follow-up if these themes hit home for you.
Good connection. And maybe one final thought to leave you with from the material we looked at.
Okay.
My fears are only going to continue to show me what I'm capable of. The more that I face my fears, the more that I feel I'm gaining strength, I'm gaining wisdom.
So the question becomes,
What burdens, what unnecessary responsibilities are you ready to put down? And what strength, what capabilities might you discover when you do?